Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1974 to 1977). Welcome back, baseball fans. 1974-77 Carryover League, another opening day, and oh, this is a doozy, folks. You don't get this on opening day very often. We got a matchup to the American League East and West. We have the Oakland A's and the Baltimore Orioles. Oh boy, these dance partners are no stranger to each other. From 1969 to 1974, that's your World Series team in the American League. 3 up, then another 3. Often met in the League Championship Series. And it's not just that, folks. Let's take a look at what happened a year ago in the schedule here. So Baltimore had the #1 seed in the American League a year ago, 10/500. They swept the Oakland A's 4 straight. And it seemed like, oh my gosh, Baltimore's going to the World Series. Whoops. Somebody didn't tell the Chicago White Sox that, who they played in the League Championship Series. And Chicago White Sox gave the Orioles a nice big shiner, big black eye there, 4-1. So Baltimore's hopes were dashed. Oakland was only a #4 seed because the division started to catch up with them a little bit. And there was the Tigers and Twins were wild card teams, but Texas and California and Seattle were starting to breathe down Oakland. You see, Oakland's only 5/500. You know, the Twins and Tigers are right there as well. But a little bit of a World Series hangover a year ago. Oakland won the World Series 2 years ago. White Sox won it last year. And Baltimore's shut out the last few years. We don't stop there, folks. We do not stop because we got a pitching matchup for the ages yet again. Oh, my goodness, folks. You guys just have stepped into it today. For Oakland, yeah, we got Jim Catfish Hunter. A 25-game winner in 74 with a 2.49 ERA in 318 innings. Starter 8. And that's not just the appetizer, folks. The Orioles are going to send their Cy Young winner, Jim Palmer, in the year of 75, a 23-game winner with a 2.09 ERA in 323 innings, folks. Catfish Hunter, Jim Palmer, they were often met in the postseason during that time, leading their staffs. Would not be surprised back then if the final score of their matchups were 2-1, and all scoring were solo homers. So that could be it today, folks. Whoever gets the 3rd solo homer in today's game will win. A 2-1 affair. Anyway, let's get started from Baltimore. Leading off for the Oakland A's, and we got a battle of 1977 Rookies of the Year as well. Mitchell Page will lead off. He won it. 3-7 is a ball 4 walk. He's a double-A stealer. He's going to steal against Earl Williams, and he's going to be safe. Barely. Bert Campaneris, 58, flies left. Joe Rudy, 2-4, grounds to short. And Reggie, 1-2, left A, and Reggie hurts himself. We have an injury. So that changes things. You have a choice of allowing Mitchell Page to patrol right field. Ooh, scary thought there. Or just putting Rusty Torres into your outfield, moving Claudio Washington over. Let's do that. Rusty Torres will play center, and Claudio Washington will move to right field for the injured Reggie Jackson with the early development of this game. All right. Now leading off for Baltimore, it's Bobby Grich. 59, flies to right. Al Bumbry, 48, pops to short. With 2 outs, Kenny Singleton. 47, a pop to third base. You know, Catfish Hunter gets you out, but doesn't strike you out as much as he used to. That's the one thing we noticed. Top of the second, it's Sal Bando, 69, flies to center. Claudell Washington, 2-8, rolls third. Doug Flynn, 1-5, flies left. We'll get you through here fast, folks. This is going to be a quick game. I'm telling you. Eddie Murray, the runner-up to the Rookie of the Year to Mitchell Page in the American League in 1977. 3-7's a walk. Earl Williams, 2-9, is a 6-4 3-double play. Paul Blair, 1-9, is a base hit. He's an ace stealer. He's going to steal off former Oriole, or future Oriole, Dave Duncan. And he's out stealing. We go to the third. It's Wayne Gross. 1-6 is a walk. Dave Duncan, 43. Left X. Out in left field, it's Bunbury. Bunbury is a 3-4 in left field. He makes the grab. Mitchell Page, 46, is a base at the center field. Wayne Gross will not take on the Blair arm. He stays at second with 1 out for Bert Campaneris. 1-7's a strikeout. And Joe Rudy, 2-9, rolls to third. By the way, the teams have waived the extra inning rule of the runner at second base in the 10th inning. This usually gets waived if their potential of a Hall of Fame matchup exists, and boy, do we ever have one. Hunter Holtzman, yeah, that's one for the ages, folks. So we're gonna, this thing will go 16 innings for all we know. All right, bottom of the third, it's Bill Sharp, 57, strikes out. Mark Belanger, 49, pops out. And Brooks Robinson, he rolls to third. We go to the fourth. This will be Rusty Torres in the number 4 spot now. 48 is a strikeout. So 2-2 E4 in center, by the way. So that's an improvement over the center fielder prior. Sal Bando, 410. Third X, it's Brooks Robinson. He's a 1 at third base. He makes the play. And Claudell Washington, 6'10". Short X, and Belanger's a 1E14. Yeah, this airtight defense on Baltimore, folks. They got ones and all over the place. All right, Bobby Grich. 4'11", first X. Your first baseman is Wayne Gross, and he's decent. Not bad. He's a 3E12. Better than we thought he would be within his rookie campaign. And he makes the play. Al Bunbury, 2-6, and there is double 111. That's a 2-base hit. Runner at second for Kenny Singleton. 1-6. Let's take a look at Ken Singleton's card in 1975. So the 73 card of Montreal was amazing. Traded to Baltimore for McNally. 74, just an okay card, but then it comes this, and by 75, it seems that the Orioles have won that trade, as Singleton will play for them through the early 80s. 1-6, a double to center field, back-to-back doubles. It's 1-0 Baltimore. Cleanup hitter, Eddie Murray, 34, rolls the first. And with 2 outs, it's Earl Williams, 5'12". Right X, out in right field, oh boy. So here's your problem. He started with a 1. Reggie started the game, then they had to move Claudell Washington over. He's a 4'7". Chance to pick up an easy second run here, and they do with a double. Runner at second, 2 outs for Paul Blair, and he walks. 2 on for Bill Sharp, 45, flies to center. Well, there's the 2 runs. Will that be enough for Palmer? Could very well be. Top of the 5th, it's Doug Flynn. 3-6 is a base hit. Flynn was drafted to them in the offseason from the Reds. Wayne Gross, 2-6, lines to short. Dave Duncan Donuts, 3-7's a K. And back up top to Mitchell Page. 2-2, he rolls to third. We have a 2-0 affair in Baltimore. 3 doubles for the home team with the lead. Bottom of the 5th, let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, Mark Belanger will lead off. 57 is a K. Doug the Sensei, excuse me, Brooks Robinson. Doug Sensei's on the bench. 1-7. Brooks Robinson is a base hit. Back up top to Bobby Grich. 2-11 is a 5-4-3 double play. If you're wondering if Baltimore is offensively challenged, pretty much, yeah. Earl Williams bats 5th, and when looking at hitters 5 through 9, they actually contemplated Mark Belanger batting 5th. Or at least Mark Belanger batting up in the lineup somewhere and somebody else batting 5th. Because everybody from here on down, it's like 240. In Oakland, Sal Band is also hitting 240. So these two teams do it with pitching and defense and mirrors and so forth, as they aren't the golden stalwarts of the bat that they once were. As soon as I say that, the A's will bat around. Burt Campaneris leads off in the 6th. 2-7's a base hit. Now, he's a single A stealer. We were successful earlier. We're down 2. Let's see what happens here. Joe Rudy. 1-7, good move. Stay put. Because 1-7 is double 1 to 16. That is a double. And the tying runs are in scoring position. For a bunting Rusty Torres, that means you have to bring the infield up. Here's the pitch to Rusty. 2-12, it's Rusty Torres Day, folks. Let's take a look at the card. So, Reggie, let's see if Lomax there for a triple play. No, he doesn't. Rusty Torres was hitting 183 with a 74 card. They bump him up to this card, which hits 205, with better defense and a better need to hit lefties more than righties is what they really need. They don't really need. And again, he's just defense versus righties, an extra left-handed bat if necessary, but not a particularly good one. They gave him full-time power, and when we look up 212 automatic, it is gone. And where did that come from? A 3-run homer for Rusty Torres, and Oakland has a 3-2 lead. Well, that blew the run projection off. I hope you took the over, folks, instead of the under. Sal Bando, 56 strikes out. Claudell Washington, 58 pops out. Doug Flynn, 45, triple 1 to 6, base hit. And Wayne Gross, 33, flies to right. Baltimore down a run now in the bottom of the 6th. We expect both these pitchers to pitch through their point of weakness. Bottom of the 6th, it's Al Bumbry, 45, flies to center. Ken Singleton, 57 Ks. And Eddie Murray, 210, rolls to the mound. We go to the 7th. It's Dave Dunkin' Donuts. 410, third X. Third baseman is Brooksy, 119. Makes the play. Back up top to Mitchell Page. 3-7's a walk. He's going to try a steal again, and he's safe. Double A stealer. They can fly, this Oakland team. Runner at second for Campaneris. 39, he walks. Trouble for Palmer. 2 on, 1 out. Playing back Joe Rudy, who doubled and scored last time up. 3-9 is a K. And with 2 outs, here it is. The Boo Birds come down. Rusty Torres, who became a villain in the 6th inning. 2 on, 2 outs, and here's the pitch. 2-12, you gotta be kidding me! 2-12 again! Rusty Torres! We have a hero, folks! The other thing about the card, looking at the opposite side, is he played for the California Angels. He's helping the Oakland A's dust a befuddled and confused Jim Palmer back-to-back 2-12s. What's the chances of that? Stick that in your calculator. Is that 1 times 6 times 1 out of 36 times 1 out of 30? Yeah, whatever. Back-to-back 2-12s is 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, and this is a 6-2 game. My goodness. Sal Bando, 3-12, grounds are short. And look at the box cards coming up again. 6-2 affair to a stunned crowd here in Baltimore. Bottom of the 7th. Stretch time in Baltimore where there's a hush in the crowd, and they're looking in their programs trying to figure out, is that Mike Torres? Is that Mike Torres? No, it's Rusty Torres. Who next? Rusty Torres. I don't know. He's on Oakland. Well, what's it say in the program? I don't know. He didn't play for them. He played for the Angels, and they signed him as a free agent. So I don't know this stuff. Anyway, stretch time music. We are enjoying, check this out. If you follow the channel enough, when the Orioles play at home, we often listen to Crack the Sky, often played on the radio in Maryland during the timeline. And this is them performing their first LP a year ago. So they redid their first LP and they put it out live. 54 minutes. So this is a wonderful reprise of their debut record. 50 years in the making. This came out in 75. So plug that in your computer and let me know how old those guys are, right? They ain't spring chickens. Alright, bottom of the 7th. Does Oakland want to tighten up their defense? Not really. A 4-run lead for Jim Catfish Hunter is like a 10-run lead for most pitchers. So, bidding off in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be Earl Williams. 3/8 a walk. Paul L.D. Blair. I have no idea what the L and the D stand for. 56, short X, Campaneris. All or nothing proposition here. A 2E27. Double player error, probably. And is a GBA. Dampening the souls in Baltimore in a glooming April sky. Bill Sharp, 68. Second X. And this is Doug Flynn, a 2E10, and that is a nice little upgrade, but he makes an error as soon as I say that. They had Dick Green a year ago, and Doug Flynn is sort of like Dick Green with a much better stick. Anyway, Bill Sharp reaches via the era, and it's Mark Belanger. 1-5, homer 1-3, double the rest, and that's a 2-base hit. Do you run Sharp to cut the lead to 3 with 2 outs? Center field is Rusty Torres, -2 arms. Sharp's a 14. I think you got to cut into the lead. You got to take the chance here. You're down by 4. He's going to try and score. And I think he got nipped by 1. Bill Sharp. Nope. He should be in there. Sharp is he's a 14 runner. So 14, 15, 16 -2 is 14. That is an RBI. Bill Sharp's quicker than we thought. So that does score the run. And with 2 outs and a runner at second in a 6-3 game, it's Brooks Robinson. 66, he connects off a Hunter. Triple 1-2. That is an RBI single. We got a ball game again. And Hunter and Palmer have both shown their vulnerabilities today. Brooks is at first in a 6-5 game for Bobby Grich. 1-7's a walk, and it's Al Bunbury time. Do you let Hunter deal with his mess, or do you go to the bench? This is the conundrum you have that Baltimore presents with Singleton and Murray, back-to-back switch hitters. When you go to the bullpen, you don't know, well, to go to a lefty or to go to a righty. The other team that can boast this would be the St. Louis Cardinals. They have Reggie Smith and Ted Simmons batting 3rd and 4th in their squad. So before they dig in, Bunbury steps to the plate, and Hunter will actually deal with him, as Al Bunbury doesn't have power versus righties. And Hunter's not at the point of weakness until the 8th. So first and second, 2 outs. Here's your pitch to Al Bunbury. 2-4, misses the column and grounds the 3rd. A 2-5 potentially gives Baltimore the lead. What a fun day today in Baltimore. A 6-4 day. As we go to the 8th inning, that double play really looks costly now. 6-4 in the 8th, Jim Palmer. Again, he's pitched well when it's not Rusty Torres. So he will continue into his breaking inning. He's a starter 9, actually. It'll be Claudell Washington. 2-4, grounds the 2nd. Doug Flynn, 38, is another base hit. He's reached 3 times today. Wayne Gross, 56, flies to right. And with 2 outs, it's Dave Duncan. 1-8 is a grounder to 3rd. All right, bottom of the 8th inning for Hunter. His breaking inning, I think what we would do is pull him if 2 base runners reach. so that he could not be a candidate for a loss. So he'll pitch through the switch hitters, Singleton and Murray. 111, ground to the pitcher. Now Eddie Murray. 412, flies to right. And with 2 outs, it's Earl Williams. 611, short X, Campaneris, a 2E27. And that is a single. The door is open a crack. Any speed on the bench? No. Paul Blair, the runner at first and 2 outs. Here is the pitch. 59 is a fly ball to right field. We have a 6-4 game in the ninth. Most games, you'd expect the starting pitchers to be gone, long gone. But today, well, they're still pitching. Palmer will most likely get a complete game with the 2 unsightly 3-run homers tossed in there by a reserve player. Mitchell Page. He's been on 3 times today. 49, second X. It's Bobby Grich, who's on 1 second base when he makes the play. Campaneris, 2-9, is a base hit. Does he try a steal? Yes, he's going to attempt a steal with a 2-run lead. He's going to be safe. Runner at second, final batter for Palmer is going to be Joe Rudy. 312 is a walk, and that'll do it. So, 8 1/3 for Palmer, then he runs out of gas here in the ninth. And you got to deal with the ubiquitous Rusty Torres. A righty who gets lefties out. Let's go Dyer Miller here in the ninth. Dyer Miller comes trotting down the Baltimore pen. 6-3, 2.74 ERA, 46 innings in 1975. Trying to put out the fire that is known as Rusty Torres here. As the fans are like, I don't know what the fans are doing. They're kind of in a state of panic almost here. 2 on, 1 out in the ninth. Here's your pitch to Rusty Torres. Another 6-5 on top of the previous one. He flies to left. And with 2 outs, it's Bando. 111's a strikeout. All right, bottom of the ninth. Do you lift Hunter and go to a bullpen? I mean, you could. Let's see. Hunter's given up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits in 8 innings. Sure. And you got Fingers. Let's start with the lefty low. Let's go to check this guy out. Oakland made some deals in the last couple off seasons to get themselves some nice pitchers. They have Pat Zachary. They got in a trade with the Reds this offseason. And previous to that, from the Padres, they got this guy I'm bringing in, Brent Strom. What a magnificent 1975 for Brent. 120 innings, starter relief, 8-8 with a 2.55 ERA. His card doesn't look much different than Randy Jones' card, frankly. The A's are going to put him in the bullpen, where we get to see him more. Lefty setup was a struggle the last few years. Brent Strom will now set up Raleigh Fingers. For Baltimore, Bill Sharp will be called back against the lefty. And the first pinch hitter announced will be Rick Dempsey, will be announced here with his 75 card that was still with the New York Yankees. So here's the pitch to Rick Dempsey. 4-10 off Strom as a pop to short. Now you got Belanger, doesn't hit lefties very well at all. And I think they're going to pinch hit for him as well with Doug DeCinces. Here's the pitch to DeCinces. 39 is a fly ball to center. And with 2 outs, it's number 9 hitter, Brooks Robinson. 63, short X. And Campaneris at 2E27. He makes the error, though. Baltimore catches a break. Robinson at first, and it's Bobby Grich. And then Al Bumbry. I think Strom will pitch through Bumbry. You know, Raleigh Fingers is not the defaulto closer here. I think Strom and Fingers will get fair shots, both of them. So we're going to let Grich swing against the lefty. Here's the pitch. 1-9 is ball 4, and Baltimore has the tying runners on board with 2 outs. By the way, these would be unearned runs like those would be. And Al Bunbury is your batter. He hits the lefties fine. He actually has power versus left-handed pitching. And do you want to simply say, you know what, let's not let Strom lose this thing. Let's go to Raleigh Fingers. Let's do that. So Raleigh Fingers will come in and try and get the final out as Strom's just put 2 men on. I think they'll take responsibility if Fingers blows a save, not Strom. So Raleigh Fingers comes in. Take a look at him in 1975. 10-6 with a 2.98 ERA in 127 innings. I think this entire pitching staff is an ERA below 3. Let me double check that. We have Hunter is 249, Holtzman's 315, Torres 250, Zachary 274, Hamilton, he's also 315, Todd's 229, Strom 255, and Raleigh Fingers 298. Oakland is not going away. If you're wondering about the Dynasty A's, and this is it, they're trying to prolong this window of Dynasty. So they got a fine baseball club here. The favorite in American League West. So Raleigh Fingers will come on to the 9th. Trying to close it out. Al Bunbury could tie it with a double that scores the runs or a triple, but doesn't have power versus righties. Al Bunbury versus Raleigh Fingers with 2 on and 2 outs in the 9th, and here is the pitch. 2-10 for Bunbury's single dot, which just loads the bases with 2 outs now. For Ken Singleton. Did we see his card? We saw his card earlier. Yeah, the 75 card that hits 300 with 118 walks and 15 dingers. Here is your pitch to Kenny Singleton. 2-10. He hits the wrong column and rolls to second base with Eddie Murray in the on-deck circle. And that ends the game. Well, that was a fun opening day here in Baltimore. They rallied. Oakland's entire offense came off the bench in the form of Rusty Torres, a 205 hitter. And how many homers was that again? Did he have, actually? He had 6. He had 6 home runs and 264 at-bats. That's presentable. You know, that's double digits in a full season. But that is your final today. Catfish Hunter gets the victory. Fingers records the final out to get the save. Jim Palmer the defeat. Oakland takes home field away from Baltimore in this game. And we'll give you the results of games 2 and beyond after the break. So stick around. All right, folks, here's the box score of the game you just saw. Oakland's 6-4 opening day victory with the astonishing Rusty Torres performance. Reggie gets hurt in the 6th inning. Torres comes in with back-to-back innings of 3-run home runs off the bench. Just remarkable. Never seen that happen before. 6-4 victory. Hunter, 8 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. Neither pitcher sharp. He put 12 men on base. Palmer put 14 men on base. Atypical performance by the Aces. Oakland gets the road win. And now we're going to journey into a low probability series of outcomes coming up, which is just, it's unusual, but ultimately it's still very competitive. The two teams are playing, you know, gritty baseball regardless of the low probabilities. Game 2, Kenny Holtzman versus Cuellar, battle lefties. In the first inning, Mitchell Page singles is caught stealing. Joe Rudy homers, making that a solo shot instead of a 2-run shot. Bottom of the 2nd inning, after 2 outs, you get a walk to Earl Williams, to Kenny Singleton, pardon me. And then Doug DeCinces on his card, homer 1, fly ball arrest. You guessed it, folks. 2-run bomb, somewhat of a partial equalizer to the Rusty Torres magic, Doug DeCinces magic, and it's 2-1. And then the errors come in for Oakland. In the 3rd inning, a Gritch walk. Brooks Robinson hits a ball to Sal Bando. He kicks it, an error. Lee May hits a ground ball to Sal Bando. He kicks it for an error. but they don't score. In the 4th inning, a walk, and then a ground ball to Sal Bando. He kicks it an error. 3 errors for Sal Bando in 7 batters. Get some bifocals or something, Sal. What's going on? But that doesn't make the run score. No, with 2 outs, it's a 2-base error on Reggie Jackson. We've looked up. Guess what? Oakland can't field. They stink. You got Bando's an E28. Campaneris is an E27. Reggie's an E13. You also have Dave Nelson playing second as an E27. Claudell Washington is on the bench today. Well, that's good news as our defensive reprieve. The only guy who can really catch the ball on this team is Joe Rudy. And Rusty Torres, of course. That 2-base error makes it 3-1 Baltimore. By the way, in the 5th inning, Campaneris makes an error. That makes 6 of them. 6 errors in a space of 11 batters for Oakland. Yet, Baltimore only gets 1 run off the 6 errors by Oakland. So this is a very winnable game for the A's. Holtzman is the point of weakness in the 7th. It's a 2-out single by Ken Singleton, making this game 4-2. Mike Cuellar is almost going for a complete game. All he had given up was that homer to Joe Rudy, and he settled down nicely. 2 outs. It is a Rusty Torres, who else? RBI double, making it 4-2. A single by Dyer puts runners on the corners, so Grant Jackson is asked to come in to get the final out. He strikes out Wayne Gross to end the game. Baltimore wins 4-2 to even the series. Low probabilities. The homer 1 fly ball, 6 errors leading to 1 run. Bizarro world, folks. Bizarro world. That's only going to get more bizarre. Game number 3, Baltimore at Oakland. It's Wayne Garland, Mike Torres. Interesting story of these 2 pitchers. 75 Torres wins 20 games for Baltimore. Wayne Garland's in that bullpen. So Torres is dealt to Oakland. 76, Wayne Garland wins 20 games for Baltimore in Torres' rotation slot. Torres goes to Oakland, has one of his best years of his career, which leads him to being sought after by the New York Yankees in 77, and then the Boston Red Sox in 78, of which he didn't pitch nearly as well as he would for Oakland. This is another bizarro game. 1st inning, Bobby Grich triple, RBI ground out Bunbury, a double, leads to nothing, it's 1-0. Bottom of the 3rd inning, they get to Garland. It's a Duncan single, a walk to Mitchell Page, a 2-out, 2-run double, Joe Rudy. 2-1, home team. It stays that way into the 7th. When they finally get to Mike Torres, a single, and an RBI single, Eddie Murray. The game is tied at 2. This game would go to extra innings. In the extra inning, with the conventional modern rules, runner at second, Eddie Murray singles, put runners on the corners. You get a Lee May sac fly, so that's the 1st run. Then Paul Blair gets a single, puts runners on the corners. And then Brooks Robinson hits a flyby question mark to Reggie. And dare you tag up for the 2nd time in the inning against Reggie Jackson's -5 arm? They do! He does tag up twice. 2 sac flies in the inning. Baltimore gets a couple runs. Bottom of the inning with a runner at second. Or the runner at second. You get a Joe Rudy double. That'll get a run in. A walk. Actually, this double scores a run. It's not a sac fly. My bad on that one. A walk, a fly ball to right, and then Claudell Washington strikes out to end the game off of Dyer Miller. And Baltimore wins 4-3, scoring 2 runs in the top of the 10th and 1 run by Oakland in the bottom of the 10th. So what makes this game so strange? Well, Baltimore had 4 runs on 17 hits in this game. In the first inning, they stranded a guy with a double. Second inning, a single was stranded. A double, single were stranded. 2 singles, a double play. A single, a double play, a single. A single stranded. They only got 1 run off the 3 singles there. A single in the 9th. And they did get 3 hits in the 9th in the 10th inning with just the 2 runs. So Baltimore does win 4-3 after winning 4-2. Let's go to game 4 for another anomaly coming up in this one. Don Stanhouse versus Pat Zachary. A great start for Zachary. Walks the first batter he faces, but Belanger's into a double play, and then Zachary would pitch 5 2/3 scoreless innings. While that's happening, Oakland gets an RBI single by Doug Flynn, an RBI single by Reggie to take a 2-0 lead. In the 6th inning, though, after those 2 outs, Mark Belanger, if you have 1 home run in 550 plate appearances, at least for Belanger, it's homer 1-3 on 1-5, and he hits it. This is almost the revenge of Rusty Torres. So low probability dingers in this series by DeCinces, Belanger, and Rusty Torres. That makes it 1-1. And then Bunbury and Singleton double to chase Zachary, who's a starter 6. Baltimore takes a 3-2 lead. They add to it in the 9th with a Grich sac fly to make it 4-2. Bottom of the inning, Stanhouse was pulled after 5. Chippy Martinez pitched 2 scoreless. Dyer Miller pitched an inning and a third. Then Bando triples. Claudel singles to knock him in to make it 4-3. But then Dyer Miller strikes out, he strikes out Wayne Gross, and then Grant Jackson strikes out Rusty Torres to end the game. Baltimore wins 4-3 after winning 4-2 and 4-2. So what does it mean after all that? Baltimore does win the series 3-1. I guess we're going to have to look at the percentages and see who's actually doing what here, because so much atypical happened. So Oakland's hitting .257 with an ERA of 3 exactly in 4 games. But they're 1-3. They do have 3 home runs. Joe Rudy and the 2 by Torres. Wayne Gross is off to an 0-for-14 start. And we talked about Sal Bando and those errors. He's off to an 0-for-16 start. How about Baltimore? Baltimore is hitting .271 with a 3.16 ERA. They got a couple homers. It's the Belanger and DeCinces shots. The homer 1 and homer 1-3. That's it. Offensively, they're getting decent production from everybody. Remember, they had a 17-hit game in here. So we knew their average was going to be respectable because one of those days was 17 hits. Baltimore scored 16 runs in the series. Oakland scored 14 runs in the series. Baltimore gets more breaks than Oakland. Oakland used up all their breaks in game 1. Baltimore used breaks through the next 3 games. So break it up for the Baltimore Orioles. They take 3 out of 4 from the Oakland A's, just like the divisional round a year ago. And so thanks for checking this out. Another opening day in the 74-77 Carryover League. We'll see you next time.